So I've been asked a few times why I ride this old foamy board. And one reason is because it's actually a foamy version of this board. And these boards I was making with Tom Morey back in 2000. He invited me up to borrow a couple of them and rode them in Encinitas. Had a blast on them, and he let me and my friend Mike borrow, I think, 3 sizes, 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot. So anyway, I kept visiting him in San Juan Capistrano at his house. He had a CNC machine. He was making all these boards, and we just designed a few different boards, and then we started experimenting with making basically foamy versions of them. This is way before Catch Surf, way before Wavestorm. Remember, Tom Morey was the inventor of, well, along with Mike Doyle, the Morey Doyle, which was really the first foam he ever made in the 80s. It was the early 80s. Even knew a couple guys that worked at that factory in the 80s. And those boards were a good concept back then. They were way, way ahead of their time. But so a lot of people, they see me carrying this thing around, they think I'm sold out to the foamy or whatnot. But I actually want to show you. I have an old foamy. I just ride that every once in a while, or let people learn on it. But I also got a whole bunch of old boards and more boards. But yeah, so this board is unique. So this board has side cut, as did the first versions that we made. The side cut here like a snowboard. Theoretically, you've got 2 contact points, front and back, hanging on the face of the wave. The middle is essentially just kind of sliding out. And when you step off the tail, or on the tail, this section releases a lot easier. So when you step on the tail and want to lift it to a turn, that releases easier. Also rolls rail to rail easier with that hip. Also allows you to get up on the nose, and the board will actually twist and hang on the face. The reason it hangs so well as a single fin, notice all the flex pattern, by the way. That's how much the board flexes. This is a skin. The reason it hangs in so well is because it has essentially a bodyboard rail. I've painted urethane all over this, and I'm going to be reconstructing this board, but it's a bodyboard rail from basically almost the middle of the board, or a little bit back from center. So there's a release point there, and then this is a vacuum rail, just like a boogie board, which will hang in a pipeline with no fins. So it makes total sense. Tom Morey obviously knew this. He invented the bodyboard. This could be done on a hardboard too. I've got one in the process of being made. This is a George Greeno. Allows it to go rail to rail really easy, but when you're on the nose, there's a lot of fin. So a little bit of it's still in the water when you're on the nose. Great fin. So yeah, it flexes quite a bit. And I've actually ridden it on about 2.5 overhead, real big waves in Oregon. I actually laid in this little maple stringer in there. But what it has is a 3-inch wide stringer, flat stringer. It's basswood, and then it also has carbon fiber laid up on it, both sides of it. There's one on the top, and there's one, you can almost see it in the bottom. Mega concave. Tom also believed in leaving a little nose here tucked so that when you're on the nose, it catches the air, holds the air in here. I actually sanded it down a little bit. It was too much. But I've never had a better nose rider. And it's a quote-unquote foamy. Again, this is way before foamies. This is actually a demo board that was then sold to Catch Surf. This was a little shape, the Y Quad by Hans Hagen shape. They were sold to Catch Surf, license agreement, and they started making all the Catch Surf. So this is a really old board. But amazing, I've been riding for 20 years and I'm actually in the process of making another one. Brand new. That's it, over and out.